This is Tailor-made tank by artist Steve Manning, made for the WW1 art trail in Bury-st-Edmunds in 2018. This has been made on a steel frame clad with camouflage netting, and oddly enough, without the camouflage netting it would be virtually invisible. This has been made at 16 feet long, but originally they were 32 feet long, but they did have a steering mechanism on the back which looked very much like it was towing an old kind of gun carriage, which could have easily have been mistaken for a gun carriage, to be honest, but actually it was part of the steering mechanism. But they soon learned on the battlefield that the steering mechanism was awful, and it was easier to steer the tank by stopping one of the tracks depending on which way you wanted to turn and spinning it rather than using the mechanism. So they were all either taken off or broken very early on in the war. And the French between them made over 6,500 tanks, and it was the end to the stalemate of trench warfare. But over the course of the war, the Germans learned quite fast how to destroy the tanks, only managing to make 20 of their own, but they did learn quite well on how to destroy our tanks. And at the end of the war, the British only had 8 tanks left out of over 6,500. This one was a male tank, and it was called Big Willie, or nicknamed Big Willie. Little Willie never actually was the first prototype and never actually made it to the battlefield, but was used for driver training. This one is a male tank, nicknamed Big Willie, and it had 2 cannons, one either side, and 3 machine guns inside. One would have been at the front where the driver would also look out through, and there was one at each side on these gun turrets on each side. They were very hot and horrible places to obviously be in a battle, and the Germans learned very well how to destroy them. They used to throw grenades that would get lodged on the top of the tank, and so eventually we started to make a very simple chicken wire construction canopy over the top of the tank that was welded to it, so that the hand grenades and everything that they were throwing, mines that they were throwing, would bounce off and roll off rather than getting lodged between the tracks. There it is, tailor-made tank. Go and see it in the Abbey Gardens.